everyone. So my computer is kaput again, and I can't really turn this into a normal MT Creations Creates episode right now. A few weeks back, I've been working on this model of my OC, Lenyll Otazz, and if you don't know who she is, she debuted during this big Halloween event I did last year. I was going to wait and publish this video after I made my Explaining the MTverse video. Maybe that'll still be the case, and I don't need to introduce this like it's gonna be new to you guys, but I'm living in confusing times, so potentially if the MTverse video is out before I make this video, then Lenyll Otazz is this character I created. She's supposed to be this catalyst witch, and she has the power to enter any dimension, any timeline. She basically has access to the MTverse's multiverse. She even can slither herself into my friends' stories, which causes some ideas for some fun collabs. And she just does all sorts of other goofy magic. She comes from the world of Maltea, which is from the Legends of Maltea D&D campaign, if you know about that. If not, it should also be explained in the MTverse video whenever that comes out, before or after this. So not only does she have an overpowered power, but she also does all sorts of magic. She doesn't just have it on a whim. She is trained, she practiced, she studied. And I made this model for the character to kind of bring her study and Lenyll herself to life. So first things first, I think I'm going to dismantle this and show each part on its own. I kind of skipped over making a video over the creation of this in Blender. Maybe by the time I'm editing this video, I'll put in a segment where I show them off as they were created in Blender and basically take you through the process of how I made this and all of this. Quick interjection, I forgot to mention that you can read about Lenyll on my blog, and I'll definitely link it in the description. And if you go do read the blog about Lenyll, then you will probably recognize some of these pieces from what I've written in that blog, because a lot of these magic items are already predetermined and they have their specific uses and backstories, but I'll do my best to explain each one as I kind of review what each piece is or does in this whole setup. Also, this isn't even done. There's a lot more I'll add to this, but I'm just gonna get one good portion of it done and then add extra details later. I think the most obvious parts of this set are obviously Lenyll herself. She can actually stand on her own, but I'm actually going to lay her down because I don't want her to fall and break. This is the base where everything goes. These are the shelves. I think I was going to eventually glue these down when they're painted. And these shelves just kind of sit here. That way I don't glue them too far from where I want them. There's a book stand because Lenyll has a main spell book she uses, and I am going to make actual paper pages for this thing, which is why it looks like this. She also has a bunch of books that I'm going to paint and maybe make a sticker cover for this here. This is the stand for her wand, which she will have because she has her wand with her at all times. What's a witch without her wand? I guess it depends on the witch. This is an interesting item called the Fruitiger Gate. I made this concept for a planet completely based off of Fruitiger Arrow, and I wanted there to be a story where some of my characters end up there, just a one-off silly little thing. And I thought it'd be interesting if Lenyll has this as kind of a reference to that idea. A way to remind myself that I still want to do that idea at some point. And I don't know why it keeps not focusing on it. There we go. This is supposed to be a communication device to the planet. Lenyll hasn't really figured it out yet. but when it's painted, it will look like an early 2000s little tech gizmo. This is one of my favorite ideas that I've made for Lenyll, and they are familiar cards. Sometimes witches and wizards will have familiars. Lenyll stole a whole pack of these player card type things, and they kind of act like Pokeballs, where if you throw them, because they also are throwing cards, it will have a familiar jump out of it. But familiars are able to just jump out of these cards whenever, if they're not trained well. So this is Lenyll's bunny, Monty Python. And this will have a cover here. I have the cover here separate from the model because, well, for one, it actually broke while printing, and I decided that I could just paint something here and then tack this on, and it'd be a little Easter egg if you look at it hard enough. Over here, Lenyll has these 3 little vials. I will fill them up with something, and I am going to label them. So I thought this would be a cute little addition. I wanted to provide something that wasn't entirely 3D printed, and I might still do that with other objects. Not sure what yet, but I don't know. It makes the whole thing a little more materially dynamic, if that even makes sense. Here I have this little cage that Lenyll has. It'll have a creature in it. I'm thinking of maybe like some kind of Star Trek tribble. I'll take a cotton ball, paint it, and just stuff it in here, and then carefully glue this down somehow. These are Lenyll's ribbons. I forgot to model it onto Lenyll, but I thought it'd be best that I printed it separately because it's really thin, really fragile, and I almost broke it taking it off of the supports. And over here, Lenyll just has all sorts of little doodads, knickknacks. I think this is a frog eye. Yeah, that's the frog eye. This is the Reed of Life. Magic nail polish and armor coin. You can read all about this on my blog. Again, I'll link it in the description. And this, I don't have it on the blog. I don't know what this is. I just created some creature. And here's a box that Lenyll stores this in. It is purposefully printed with the lid leading on the side of it, so you can always look inside and see that there's stuff inside the box. And that's pretty much it for right now. I'm about to go ahead and paint all this, and then we can see what else we can add. Here's some progress on how the painting's going. I got the base, the cauldron, and the shelves all painted and ready to go. I got the stack of books in the middle being painted. I painted these drawers. I actually forgot to mention these were a thing, but I'm gonna put some stuff in them at some point. I don't know what yet, but I'll figure it out. Another little special thing I'm doing for this project is adding stickers. Some of these are for the books, and most of these are for the cauldron. Lenyll likes to decorate her cauldron in random stuff. I might make more later. This is just what I could come up with for now. And these are the pages for the book. Lenyll is just about done, or at least this iteration of the model is. I still got to fill these little vials and label them, but I'm going to take 1 or 2 of them to Spain with me which I'm actually leaving today as of recording this. And I'm gonna fill some of them with sand and little pieces of shell from Spain. I also made this tiny little Lenyll along with this tiny little sunflower. This is unrelated to the project. Although I took them on a get together with my friends and she got a little scraped up in a bag I was carrying her in. Now I just gotta glue this on, maybe glue some other things down, and she can stay on my shelf for the summer until I finish this whole model up when I get back. Alright, Lenyll is now happily on my shelf. And she looks great. Of course, the model will still need more and it will be finished after this summer. But right now, I am absolutely loving how it's turning out. And I got a little special surprise. Boom, lights. Can do different things. And we get flash, I can set to different colors. I can have it on for 30 minutes or an hour. And it's just a decoration in my room I've wanted for a while already. And I'm glad to have made it and have it just exist now. And that's Lenyll. More on this eventually.